It's good now, running proper, like actually good proper. Ah yes, my 1998 Toyota Tercel. I keep showing this flyby clip with the blue smoke cloud that lingers around anywhere this thing goes. You probably thought that was filmed before I spent a month rebuilding the entire engine. No, that was after. It's time to call it. This problem is not going away on its own. The last trip I did was about 300 kilometers. It burned 5 liters of oil. That's this entire jug. So clearly, we have some problems. I have gone through every single possibility that does not include tearing the engine apart. It's not the valve seals. It's not going through the PCV system. It has to be the piston rings. Either way, I want to see this car run good, and I don't want this to have been a waste of time. So, you see this box? We're running it back. We're not giving up. We're doing it again. The lovely thing about buying another set of piston rings is you also have to buy another head gasket and bolts and washers, things I've already done and replaced. The hood comes off once again, then I drain the cooling system and what was left of the engine oil. The plan, or the goal I guess this time, is to get down to the cylinders, get them rehoned and re-ringed and stuff without removing the engine block, which means the head comes off, the oil pan goes down, but we leave the engine and the transmission in the car, hopefully. Well, I just took one of the exhaust bolts out so I can get the whole thing removed and dropped the bolt directly into my coolant bucket. Ideally, I would like to not contaminate my coolant that much because I want to pour that stuff back in because I don't want to have to buy a bunch more of it. That is tight. There we go. I was definitely hoping that I was done with this project, but on the plus side, I've taken this apart and put it back together so many times now that it's definitely starting to get easier. Yep, that smells like gas. I am kind of excited to do something on this car that does not involve taking the valve springs out and putting them back in. At least I probably don't have to do that. I actually lost one of these things at some point. I wonder if we'll find it in the bottom of the oil pan or something, because I never found it and I had to just put an O-ring on here. After removing the valve cover, I got the timing belt out of the way, and then I could remove all of the caps and take out the camshafts. You might remember that whole double hex bolt thing. I still don't have a double hex tool, so we're going with the single hex. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. These are kind of like the most important bolts in the car. Let's try it. What a roller coaster this process always is. I don't think that worked. No, it worked. We're good on number 1. Okay, ignore me accidentally pulling a lifter out. 1, 4, 5 lifters. Stay in there, please. 9, 10. With all of the bolts out, I tried to lift the head off, but it was still attached with brackets on the intake and the exhaust. But after those were gone, it did come off, and now we're back to getting to see the pistons. To get them out, the oil pan needs to be removed so the connecting rod bearings can be separated, and the pistons, they get pulled out of the top. Then I got everything organized and laid out, and I realized my bearings looked really bad considering these only have 2,000 kilometers on them. I bought another set of them, and I did also look at the main bearings. They didn't look nearly as bad, so I decided not to touch those ones. I'm hoping the bearing wear was caused by the state that the oil was in and that it's just gonna stop doing that once it's running better. And I have incredible news. I think that the problem is right here. Behind the oil rings, there's drain holes. Last time I had the pistons out of the engine, I was not knowledgeable enough to know that these existed. But I know about them now. They are clearly completely plugged, and apparently this is a common problem for this engine. They're plugged enough that I couldn't even push something through them. I had to drill them out, and every single one was like this. I also stuck the pistons in an ultrasonic cleaner, just for fun, and I do think they looked better when they came out. At this point, I'm pretty confident that was the problem and it's fixed now, so it's time to start putting this thing back together. I made sure that the end gap on the new rings was correct, which it was, so it's time to once again prepare my cylinder walls. Definitely some glazing in there, basically a mirror finish on the cylinder walls. That is not what you want, so I got out the hone. Apparently automatic transmission fluid is good for this, so we're using this. I didn't mean to pour it all over the engine. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. The ones that I haven't done look like a mirror compared to this. Hopefully, that's going to allow the new rings to break in properly. All right, I think that we're calling this good. You'll definitely have a hard time finding people who say it's a good idea to hone your cylinders with the crankshaft installed, but if you're going to do that, cleaning is important. Next, I need to get everything that the oil touches in here and down on the bearings down there all perfectly clean. From what I've heard, the goal is to be able to pull this out of here and see nothing on the towel. Clearly, I am not there yet. Well, we're starting to get there. Next, it was time to prepare the pistons. First, the new bearings go on. In an attempt to clean these out better, I've got a feeler gauge. I put that in this towel and then jam it into the ring groove, and then I'm sliding it around the whole piston. Hopefully that'll clean these things out a bit better. And yeah, there's definitely stuff coming out. Then the new rings go into the grooves, the cylinders are lubricated, and I push the pistons back into the block. Last time I did this, I used a ring compressor, but I realized on this engine, you can kind of just hold the rings together yourself and push them in. Bolts go on the bottom, the oil pan goes back on, and another new head gasket. I put some engine oil on these threads, the long bolts go on the exhaust side, and the short bolts on the intake side. Okay, first pass, I'm only doing 20 foot-pounds right now, starting from the center bolts, working my way outward. And then second pass will be 33 foot-pounds. And then after that, they need to turn another 90 degrees. That is more intense than I remember it being. 90 degrees is a lot on that. In theory, I'm at the good part. I'm gonna put some oil in this thing and other fluids, and we'll try it out. I've looked over all of these surfaces. I'm officially out of parts that fit this engine, so I'm going to try and turn it over. Now I have the spark and the fuel injectors all unplugged. Right now I just want to see if the oil pressure light goes out. Okay, let's see that light go out. I feel like it should have went out by now. Okay, let's just do a little bit more. Oh, it's out. All right, we're calling that good. Let's plug it in. I might have been getting a little bit too excited. I do still need a hood and a license plate, so I'm gonna work on that. And here's how the first start went. Good stuff, let's go for a drive. I'm happy with that. 30 kilometers in and it's already running better than I've ever seen this car run. It feels like it's making more power and there's no more smoke clouds. Why is my check engine light on? Just got out from underneath this thing. The knock sensor was unplugged. Hopefully that's it. 222 successful kilometers since we redid everything. Let's do the first oil change. Every time I've gotten oil out of this car before, it's been completely dark black. Let's see what we get this time. That's interesting. It actually is black, but it doesn't show up on the dipstick that way. On the dipstick, it shows up completely clear. Oh, apparently I put the filter on quite tight. Hopefully this engine's done with break-in oil. We're just putting regular 5W30 in now. Looks like it's right there, which is right at the full line, so this is good to go. So how did we do? I thought I should get some new numbers on how this came out. So I got set up for another compression test. Already, these spark plugs are the best I've ever seen come out of this engine. That's a new record. Before this video, all of the cylinders were at 150 psi, and now checking cylinder 1, it's making 175. And better news than that, all of the other cylinders are also making at or slightly above 175 psi. I am very, very happy about all of this. The engine is officially in properly working, good condition. And another 1,000 kilometers later, the oil level is exactly where I filled it to. I won! It took more than one try to get here, but I got it. I can now drive my underpowered, featureless old car from the 90s. What a dream. Yeah, it's pretty fun, I guess. Get subscribed because the reason this video is slightly late is a pretty good one. Perhaps there's some more cool stuff coming. Subscribe for that. And yeah, thank you for watching. The Tercel is pretty much done. There will be more videos about it though, so subscribe.